Hello, and welcome here again to Flat Earth Social. Quiet and the cheap seats at the back, please. Ladies, thank you very much. Thank you. He's getting a bit, isn't he? Ladies and gentlemen, hello again and welcome. Flat Earth Social number 33, 34, something like that. A couple of things. Tonight we've got a man that needs no introduction, obviously. Most of you know, David Weiss. He's a legend in the Flat Earth community, very good friend of mine. I don't like it really. And he's going to come and talk to us tonight, all things Flat Earth. I know there's a few new people here today who are just waking up to Flat Earth, so if you've got any questions, we're going to do a Q&A after we've had a chat with Dave. But I just want to tell you about next month. We've got a very special one next month. Flat Earth Social is 3 years old, so we have this room from 7 o'clock. It's £10, but we have Martin Leaker here, we have Mark Devlin here, and we have Dave Murphy here. They're all going to speak. I haven't worked out the times yet, but they're all coming in person to impart whatever wisdom they have onto us for £10. So hopefully see you next month. Well, without further ado then. Without further ado, please, can you give it up? I've got to do this early, it takes a bit of time to warm up. For our Superman, Mr. David Weiss.
Can you hear me?
I just need to change the camera.
All right, for those of you that got here a little early and saw the name of this Zoom, you might have been questioning, and I just want to play a quick little video. It's a Mexican tradition. This. So here's a little video. It's very short.
I am indeed at home. Yeah, Dave, I think they've got it. I think they got it now. I think they got it.
Wait. All right, just so there's no confusion, you know, where that was coming from, so you know. I've lost my Zoom window, and now it's back.
Hey,
there we go. There you go. So most of you who are flat earthers probably know who I am, and probably have seen my interviews 100 times. The number one thing that comes up about how can the Earth be flat, and this is the disingenuous globers and the people that are new, and it's actually a very good question if you're new to the thing is where does the sun go? You know, on a clear day, how does the sun set over the ocean? And I've got lots of stuff on that which I've shown, and I've got some new stuff, and I'm just going to run through an extensive. It won't take about 10 minutes. Run through on where the sun goes, how it sets. So when you get asked this question, you'll be able to clearly answer it, or at least point them towards a video about it. So this is what I've had before. This is our perspective grid, right? And this is how we know that the ground ramps up, the sky ramps down, the sides ramp in. One thing they don't talk about is the back ramping forward, which we're not going to get into right now, but that is a very important aspect. So you got somebody here, here's their eye level. I throw this mountain in that's 3,000 feet above this guy's head. Let's just call it 3,000 feet. So here's the sun, and the sun just goes away. It looks like it's going down due to perspective. Now, is that below the horizon, or is it just beyond the mountain? Easy answer, it's just beyond the mountain. And if he rose up in the sky, he could see the sun again. Doesn't make the Earth a ball, it just makes him seeing over the mountain. It gives him a better perspective. Or if I make him go back 20 miles, he can see the sun again. And if the sun goes farther away, is it going below a horizon, or is it going beyond a mountain? Now, this line right here, which appears to him to be at his eye level, flat or globe, it's still 3,000 feet above his eye level, but it looks like it's at his eye level. So just like I can take this sun right here and I make it go away, it looks like it's going below a horizon, but it's just going beyond the horizon. The question is, we're all brainwashed into believing the horizon is at our eye level, but in reality, it only appears to be at our eye level. Take this a step farther, throw some clouds in here. So the clouds, let's say they're 10,000 feet above the mountain. Got the sun above the clouds. The sun goes away again. This line here now, not only is it just the mountain, that's the ground ramping up, the sky's ramping down into this line. So this line here is now the mountain 3,000 feet above his eyes, the cloud deck or the atmospheric deck 10,000 feet above the mountain. So this line is maybe 13,000 feet above his eyes. So did we go below an Earth curve, or did it just go beyond something that's above our eye level? But the way we see, we think it's at our eye level. So here we go. You all, if you all been on an airplane, you look down, you see the cloud deck. When we're underneath, we see those clouds. They all look like they're at the same level. They're sitting on a deck. Now, if you're a glober, you think, oh, look, they're wrapping around the Earth because they're getting closer. But when you're above, you can see that this is just a flat deck. This is just a flat deck of clouds. Now, when there's no clouds, the atmosphere itself becomes opaque over 30, 40, 50 miles. It becomes opaque. It's like looking through water. If you're in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, crystal clear, you can't see from one end of the pool to the other, even though the water's clear. The air is the same thing. It's just farther before it becomes opaque. So here's my crappy graphics here. Let me just move this a little bit so you can see. So here we have the clouds on the deck going away into the distance, right? So here's an orthographic view. An orthographic view is if you could see the side of your own face. That's an orthographic view. So orthographically, we see these clouds sitting at this level. We got the sun in the sky. And if this guy looks up here, this cloud is going to block his vision in all of this space here, right? If he looks over here, he can't see anything in this space that's beyond the cloud. Same thing here. He can't see anything in that space. But what does this cloud really look like to this guy from his point of view? It looks more like this. That last cloud was like here. So when this cloud goes beyond there, it just goes beyond these clouds, beyond again. And when these clouds become indistinguishable from what we call the horizon, they disappear beyond it, but we're brainwashed to think it's going down below a globe. So here are all these clouds again in the distance. I'm going to push them, let's just call it 50 miles. It's more like 30 miles. 30 miles away, the clouds literally look like this. The clouds that are above his head that we showed earlier, they literally look like this. And if we move the sun forward, the sun's just going to go beyond these clouds. Now, in reality, you wouldn't even be able to see that these are clouds. These would just merge with the ground, and you would think it's ground as the sun goes beyond them. Like if you were sitting in your yard and your neighbor comes up, your annoying neighbor comes up to your 5-foot-high fence, and he's talking to you, and then he walks away, he's going to disappear from his shoulders to his chin, up to his eyes, over his head. He's going to disappear over that fence. That's, and if that fence was 100 yards away, the top of the fence would look like it's at your eye level, even though you're sitting down and it's above your eye level. So it's the same thing. So when he looks over at that cloud, that's right there. It's literally looks like he's looking straight across the land, right? So this cloud is blocking everything that's beyond it, and the sun will disappear beyond that cloud. But in reality, this cloud is really here, right? This is the cloud 20 miles away. So another thing, and I'm just kind of jumping forward here, if a rocket took off here, let's call a rocket 100 miles away, that rocket wouldn't be visible to this guy until it breaks this line, this cloud horizon line. Now is the only time he can see this rocket, because this is an argument that's going to be used in the near future, that a rocket can be seen taking off 180 miles away, and you don't see it for a minute or two until it breaks the horizon. Well, that makes sense on a globe. On a flat Earth, how do you explain it? And how you explain it is, if this cloud is 20 miles away right here, and so the line from his eye skimming this cloud to him will look parallel with the ground, but in reality, it's ramping up. And you add another 80 miles to that. How high is this, right? If here is 10,000 feet, how high is this? Is that 100,000 feet? And so you wouldn't see the rocket until it crosses that line, right? So here's his point of view. He sees that cloud here, and he doesn't see this little space right here, which you can't even perceive when you're looking that far into the distance. That's 100,000 feet, as if that was the number we were talking about, and we won't see that rocket appear until it crosses that line. To this viewer, it looks like it's coming up over the horizon a minute later after it launched, and they'll go, therefore, the Earth is a globe. That's just not understanding how your eyes work.
Yeah, true.
Right? So this is what's really happening, but he sees that this is an orthographic view of what he sees. He sees this, right? We see this. If we're looking at it from the side, or if we were 100 miles away, this is what we would see. His eyesight would be going like that, but in reality, it looks like that to him. So this isn't a theory. This isn't, this is just the way we see, and this is what no one ever teaches us in school. Here's just another.
Hey, I've got a question about. I mean, it's down to the laws of perspective how we see in our own atmospheric dome. But when we see, you were talking about the sun there in the clouds, and you've seen it as well, and I expect most people have seen it. What are we looking at when that sun is in the clouds? What are we looking at?
That's a good question. Well, I'll answer that in a minute, but I'll answer it right now. Is we see the sun in an apparent position. I'll show you what I mean by that. And if let's say you're looking at it, Ian, and you see it in the clouds, but somebody 50 miles away is looking at that from the other side, they're not going to see the sun even near those clouds. They're going to see it in a different apparent position. So depending on atmospheric conditions and your location, your apparent position could be in the same place where the clouds are. And I'll show you some examples of that. So here's, besides this, I think, here is another one they come up with, which is the same topic, is the Earth is a globe because in Dubai, you can watch the sunset, then you can quickly take the elevator up the Burj Khalifa building and see the sunset again, which is true, although they've never done it, and it doesn't happen every day. It's due to atmospheric conditions. So I got the sun right here, and the camera's moving around because they're on a boat, and the sun is setting beyond these trees, which are clearly above our eye level, right? And so the sun, hold on, let me go back a little bit. The sun is setting below this. Now, I'm just going to go back. Hold on, sorry. These trees are literally less than a mile away. If they were 5 miles away or 10 or 15 miles away, they would, again, merge right into the horizon. You wouldn't be able to tell that they were trees. They would look like Earth. They would look like Earth, and the sun just goes beyond it, right? So the sun went, I waited 5 minutes, and I launched my drone, and there's the sun again. I'm barely up. I mean, I'm up, not even 1,000 feet, and there's the sun again, and it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. It was going down, 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 down. And then for some reason here, it just refuses to get any lower. So I'm zooming in. This is super sped up. The sun is just sitting here. What is all of this? This is what I call opaque atmosphere, or the atmospheric deck of opacity. These are mountains in Pennsylvania. I'm in Connecticut, right? And the sun is just going beyond the mountains, beyond the atmosphere, and it's just fading away. Nobody sees, like, if the sun was setting below an Earth curve, you would have a dark line shoot up from behind you across the sky and of darkness, but that never happens. It just gets dimmer and dimmer as the sun goes down, and it just goes away. So Go to the next one. So here is, this sun is just moving level and it's just going away. This line here, this is clearly mountains in the distance, but even if they were farther away, or it would just become a horizon, which could be terrestrial, it could be atmospheric, it could be both. And people just don't understand that. Here is the sun setting, same place. Now I'm looking a little bit to the left of where we were before. These are the trees that I showed you before. So this is maybe 5 miles away, and these trees literally become the horizon. Now watch, when it gets right near the horizon, you're going to all of a sudden see some mountains in the distance. Ready? 1, 2. All of a sudden, there they are. Boom, there are the mountains in the distance. And it's just going beyond the mountains, the atmosphere. All of this is thousands of feet above my eye level, and the sun is just going away, taking its light with it, right? Let's go to the next one. This is just a time lapse. Now, is this person falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound? Or is this light in the sky just going away and taking its light with it? It's just going away. It's clear. Railroad tracks. Now these tracks are converging. Everything's going into the vanishing point. The sun is just going. So these clouds are see-through here, but as you're looking farther and farther away, you're seeing through more and more and more and more atmospheric clouds. And this line right here, this is just all atmosphere. And the sun is just going beyond that atmosphere, because that atmosphere is high as these clouds, but it's all getting compressed. We think it's at our eye level. The sun is above it. Now, if the sun was below it, we could zoom in on that sun if it got too small. It's just like we could zoom in on a boat or a mountain, right? A terrestrial object below the atmosphere is different than something above the atmosphere. So celestial objects disappear for partially a different reason than terrestrial objects do. Here's the classic coin on the table. Here's the sunset. Now, the Globers will say, well, the camera is lower than the table. And some flat earthers will zoom in, and they could zoom in and see the coin again. But when you zoom in, you're opening up the iris, so you are kind of seeing over the table a little bit. That's kind of not fair. I'll take the Glober side on that one. But in reality, after what I just showed you, you realize that this line here is not the Earth, that it's thousands of feet above the Earth. All right? And so this sun is doing the same thing. You know, if I was back a little bit farther, you would wonder if maybe that is at eye level. So this is your horizon. The sun just goes away. It goes beyond it. And our brains have a hard time dealing with understanding that. Here's another one. The sun was going down, 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 and it kind of just slows down when it gets here, and then it just fades. It just fades away. It just fades out. It's not going below the horizon. It slowed it down here a little bit. It's just sitting there. Kind of looks like it's in God's hand, and it just fades away. And the Globers, the Globers will go, I've watched 1,000 sunsets and I've never seen that. Well, you're not looking. You're not looking. You know, this is also viewed from a drone with a 4K camera. You're not going to see this quite often or hardly ever. There's another sun fade out from the ground. Especially most sunsets are viewed over the water. Water has that marine layer that is the thickest air ever, and that marine layer becomes that opaque line that the sun just goes beyond. But on a super clear day, sometimes the sun will fade out before the atmosphere becomes completely opaque, because the sun going into the distance, as it does on a flat Earth, gets weaker and weaker, and its light doesn't travel forever. We're taught that, you know, light travels for billions of years, and that's
93 million miles it travels.
Yeah, it travels, and a photon takes 1 billion years to come out of the center of the sun, and then 8 minutes to come here and crash into a solar panel and make electricity. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So here's the sun fade in. This was hard to catch because you never know what's going to go, but the sun is approaching. It's approaching. The tops of the clouds are lit. The sun's below the horizon, but the tops of the clouds are lit. Weird, right? And all of a sudden, I think this is, you'll see the sun coming. Now, is this the horizon? What are we looking at? Is this the horizon? Where's the horizon? And all of a sudden, when you see the sun up here, this is the horizon. That's a reflection, right? This is the water is mirroring the sky from here. This is the horizon right here. So when you look out and you think you see the horizon, ask yourself, what is the horizon? The horizon is not a real place. It's an optical place. Right where this little indent is, that's where the real horizon is. This is all water. It's reflecting the sun as the sun's coming into view. So
it's easy to see out of the globe. People can pretend to fool us.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to answer if you haven't really looked into this stuff. They don't teach you this stuff in school. So if you're on a globe, you're always on the top from your point of view, and everything falls down and away. Everything, the farther it is, the lower it should be. It goes down and away in all directions. That's just how reality would work. So you ask a glober, say, is this the Earth horizon? They go, yes. And you say, is the water ramping up or is it curving down and away? And they're like, oh, it's curving down and away. I'm like, why is it higher here than here? Shouldn't this be lower than here? Shouldn't it all be going down and away? So this is what I do. I throw in a couple boats, and I got a closer boat and a farther boat. Now this boat's bigger, but it's smaller due to perspective, right? If I actually took a picture with actual boats, this is what it would look like, right? And I have plenty, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So why is this higher than this? We've never seen it lower because we live on a flat Earth, but the globe dictates that it needs to be lower. So the glober will say, this is curved and it's going down and away. Then I say, is this hallway curved? Well, we all know hallways are flat and level. And they'll say, well, no, it's not curved. But then you lay it over the water, no manipulation. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. And they'll all get pissed off and rage quit at that point. But if I throw the boats back in here and then on the water and I take the water out, they're just sitting in the hallway. It matches exactly, but one's Earth curve and one's not, right? This is what we have to deal with. And then if I overlay a random sunset, it amazingly follows the same perspective curve, proving that the sun is going away in a straight line for for the distance that we see it. It's just another sunset going away. I'm going to reverse it in a second. It just follows the same line and it goes into that atmospheric deck. It goes away. Now people say, well, how come you can't zoom the sun in? It's because once it goes beyond, it's not going into the horizon. It's going beyond the horizon. It's going beyond the horizon. Right? Like these streetlights, I can zoom in and bring this last streetlight into view, right? But if I lay these streetlights over the same thing, first, the streetlights, which we know are straight, they line up with the straight hallway, with the sunset. Everything's the same, straight, except the ones of the Earth are curved somehow. Weird. All right. So question is, what? I'll give you a physical example. If I put I think I have it in here. Where's the next one? Is it in here? No, what I want to show you is not in there. All right. Well, we'll come back to that. So here is my little setup. I've got little Jesuses on the floor, and each one is higher. Everybody could use a little Jesus. All right. So each one is farther away. We know the floor is flat. Well, I got them on a ball here, and no matter what you pick, they're all
drowning Jesus.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you're talking about walking on water, curved Earth, everything. Right? But each one is down and away. No matter which one you pick, the other ones are down and away. This is how the little boat here, the bigger boat is here, down and away. But we don't see that ever. But we live on a ball.
That's true.
We live on a ball, right? So.
Oh, sorry. Who did that?
What are you laughing at?
The Jesus on the ball.
They're the best. Come on. You can order them on Temu. You get 100 for like $7. You kind of just leave them places. It's actually kind of fun. So here's a house on top of a mountain. Now this is mocked up because at sunset, if we're on the top of the highest mountain and the sun is setting around the curve, the sea level, it's below the top of the mountain. So this post should cast a shadow higher on the mountain. Like you take a light and you bring it down, it's going to cast a shadow higher. But that's not what we see ever. That's not what we see. Here's a simple experiment you can do. I got 2 water bottles. I got a sun going away and a sun going down. The sun going away, it just kind of gets taller, but then it just fades out like our sunsets. It just fades out. The one going down doesn't fade out. It gets taller, but we've never seen a shadow taller than itself. We've never seen the sun at any altitude shine on the ceiling of whatever room you're in. Never happens. It never happens. People look out at the ocean and see the sunset. Hey, look, the sun's setting. Now, these are those same trees I was talking about. I zoom in. It's not really setting. We just can't discern this amount of space at that distance. And it looks like the sun is setting, and it'll eventually go beyond those trees, which are, 150 feet above water level here. And it'll just go beyond them. We'll think this is Earth curve. It's going down. I'll think I'm falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound because that just makes a lot of sense. And then, people say, well, on a flat Earth, the sun should turn into a little dot. Well, depending on atmospheric conditions and where you are, sometimes it does. So here's the sun just going away, and it's getting smaller and smaller and weaker, just as a flat Earth should predict. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it fades away. Notice it's not going down. It's just going away. And then eventually it's going to go into this. It's going to fade out literally before it can get eclipsed by the atmosphere. And it just goes away and it takes its light with it. Now, this is an old video that I clipped up a little bit from Phuket Word. And he's filming this bike over this bridge. Now, look at all this miraging that's going on. This is the railing. You can see the railing is warping. This is the horizon right here, right? So this is miraging, reflecting the sky. So you'll notice the biker, and I say let's say his shirt is the sun. He's starting to double here. So you can see he's got his legs are below the pedals. There's his shirt, right? So the horizon is really here. And he's just going to kind of fade away. And this isn't even that far. This is just on a hot, humid day. And he's literally going to just fade out into what? What's he fading out into? Right? He's not going below anything. This is a level road. And he's just fading and fading out. And I'm going to compare this to a sunset. And now you can't even see him. He's just gone. Going around the corner. So here's the sun. I'm just going to jump forward a little bit. The sun is going away. This is with a solar filter. And again, the horizon is here. So the bottom half is reflecting off the water, and it's kind of just fading out above the horizon. He disappeared above the horizon, what we perceive as the horizon. It just faded out into the atmosphere. So here I jump forward a little bit. So here's that sun fading away, and here's the biker fading away. It's the same thing. And sometimes you'll see the reflection here on the water, just like we see the reflection here on the mirage. And it just fades out. It's the same thing. The sun is disappearing well above the horizon. Looking at this with your naked eyes, it'll look like it's set below this line, which you think is the Earth. And then just a last thing, this is my flat Earth kitchen. This line is level. It's level. This sun doesn't go below this cardboard bottles here. It's just going beyond it. But I'm looking at it from a terrestrial point of view. Here it is from a celestial point of view. It's just going across those bottles. It's hard to see. The bottles are the cardboards right here. But this line is the same line. It's level. This is a celestial point of view and a terrestrial point of view. Same thing. This is the sun. It just went beyond. This is an actual sunset. It's just going down and away beyond the atmospheric deck or mountains or whatever this is. It's just going beyond it. And globers will tell you that's because we were falling over backwards. The Earth is a globe. You evolved from monkeys. And that's about it. So how's that? Do you understand how the is now? It's very quiet. Very quiet.
We're all listening. We're all taking it in, I think.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
We can get rid of the noise, but you might not hear him very well.
What noise? Oh.
Well, I've got a microphone up to the speaker there. Talk without it.
Check 1, 2.
Keep going.
Well, the recording should be clearer because it's clear on my end. It's clear on my end, so you guys can watch the recording.
The recording will be fine.
The recording will be fine. So I don't know. Did you guys hear everything I said, or?
Absolutely, yeah, everything. Cool. Dave, I just wanted to ask you because obviously perspective is a real thing which globers don't understand, and there's a lot of things about perspective in your app. You've done this thing, the truth cards, the new flashcards, which I've been using a lot. I think they're pretty good. Tell me about them. What was the idea and the stuff behind that?
The idea was globers say, you flat earthers, you don't have a single flat earth proof. And Nathan Thompson had just put out a video where he was juggling heavy metal balls while reciting in alphabetical order 100 flat earth proofs, right? I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was pretty inspiring.
A lot of people saw that.
Yeah, so Nathan, I said, give me that list. And he gave me the list, and I turned them all into flat earth cards, and they're pretty cool. So as you flip through the cards, like this one on the abyssal plains, all of a sudden info thing shows up. So if I click that, it's going to bring me to whatever info it is. This is a YouTube video about the abyssal plain, and you can share it. Like, go here. I could just say share it, and I'll send it to Ian and send. And then someone says, yo, what about so-and-so? Type in I got it. There it is. Let's type in there's a new card. It's what's that star chart called? Not the
anybody?
It's called I don't know.
Dave, things like that abyssal plain, explain that to us. What is the abyssal plain? Because a lot of people might not know anything about it.
So the abyssal plain is the 70% of the world is ocean, and 50% of the 50% of the world is the abyssal plain, which is the ocean floor, which is flat. It's completely flat. Submarine can sit on the bottom of the ocean, send its sonar out. Anything in the way will bounce back, and it'll say there's something there. But it can see another submarine sitting on the ocean over 100 miles away, 125 miles away. That would be 2-mile high mountain of Earth curve in between them. But somehow the sonar can see that. So their Earth is flat. Now a glober will try to bend your mind and go, well, it's flat, but it's curved because flat is curved. Flat is curved. Yeah. You could hit shuffle to jump around. Right now, the cards jump back to the beginning every time. I'm doing an update. It's supposed like if I'm on card 64, the next time I come back, it'll open up to card 64. So kind of cool. It's a great way to educate yourself. It's a great way to, if you're trying to annoy a family member or a friend, just send them one a day. Like, here's your daily reminder. It's flat. And they're super fun and they're super easy. And I'm adding more, anytime I got to keep looking for support information. Hopefully they'll all have info links eventually on them.
What are they called, Dave, and where will we find them?
So the app, they're in my app. Let me go here. In the app, it's just the top button, or sometimes they're in different orders, but this one right here, it's called, it's the flashcards. It's the newest feature on the app.
Dave, you've got loads of different features in there that some of our people might not have seen. What's the what is that, a Tatarian griffin? What's that about?
Yeah, so that's the old world page, which is one of my favorite pages. And if those of you that have not looked into the old world, it's a bigger rabbit hole than flat Earth, but it can only exist on a flat Earth, right? So the old world stuff is mind blowing, right? There's no bottom of that rabbit hole. So just dive in head first. My Lunch Break, which is one of the greatest channels. If you're not watching My Lunch Break, you're missing out. He's on YouTube. He's on Rumble. He's everywhere. Just search My Lunch Break. And he puts out 1 or 2 videos a week. Just watch them, right? And you'll never be able to walk out, especially in the UK, without going, how did I miss that my entire life? How did I not see that? Because you are surrounded by old world stuff that does not fit our timeline. And this guy is funny as hell. If you like swear words, he swears a lot. But he's funny. He just goes around to buildings and just points out the absurdity in them. This is a great one here is the Our History in a Different View. Awesome. Is that one of your buddies, Ian? Oh no,
Who is it?
No, it's a conspiracy music guru, Alex's buddy. It's fantastic. It's right up there with the Lost History of Flat Earth. If you haven't seen that one came out years ago by a guy named Iwaranan. And again, who this guy is questionable. But the people sent me their video. It's a 5-hour video. And I'm like, I'm not watching a 5-hour video. You're nuts. And more and more people kept sending it to me. And I just like, I'm not watching a 5-hour video. I just don't have time. And then one night at 11 p.m., I was cleaning up and I said, let me just throw this on, see what the mumbo jumbo is about this. 10 minutes later, I wasn't straightening up anymore. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Right? Went out, did my work for the day, came back, and I watched the whole thing again at regular speed. I watched a 5-hour video twice in 24 hours. Okay. So that was my introduction to the old world. It is mind blowing. Again, Sean Hibbler's Old World Order. That's kind of a fun one to start with. All sorts of stuff, giant trees. And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, Cabbage Patch Babies. Don't click that if you're not ready. Okay. Let me tell you something. None of you are ready.
Dave, who did the Cabbage Patch Babies? Is that our friend Guy Anderson?
This one is I forget who. There's a whole series in here. There's a whole series of videos, but that rabbit hole is so mind blowing. It's unbelievable.
Hey, what's your take on that rabbit hole? Just incidentally, what is your take on it?
So I think that there's a reset that happens. I don't know if it's God-made, man-made. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but I think it happens every few hundred years on the high side, and they repopulate the Earth. I don't think there's anything. There's nothing. I don't think it's David Avocado Wolf pointed this out to me when I first heard it. I was like, this is nuts. That nothing becomes extinct. This world regenerates everything, and there's no animals that are going extinct or anything like. These animals that were supposedly extinct, they're all of a sudden they're back. Fish are falling from the sky. The world repopulates itself. But there was a reset in the late 1700s, it appears. And then in the 1800s, the gold rush in America where everyone went out west to fund. No, it was a real estate rush to go out and claim all these buildings. These buildings weren't builded, they were founded, right? So all these, that's where the Freemasons came from, Freemasonry. And so worldwide, there was all of these buildings here, but then they needed to repopulate the world. And I think it was the early 1900s, all of a sudden trains worldwide started showing up with millions of children on them. Just everywhere, all over the world. Just millions of children being delivered on trains all over the world. No recollection of who their parents were. I couldn't tell you anything past that.
What do you think was the cause of the reset, Dave? What do you think is actually behind any of it?
I think that the public got too close to the truth of the Earth being flat, so they reset the world. So that I don't really know. I think that it's such a deep topic that I think that the world used to be much different. I don't think people used to eat food I think, you look at all these old world buildings, there's 1,000 rooms and no bathrooms. Okay. Did they forget to build bathrooms in these incredible buildings? Or did people just not eat food? People don't understand that. I think the human body was way different in the past. And I think some fallen angels, if you want to call them that, took over the world and literally are using us to create their world. They're keeping us in fear because our thoughts create the world around us, right? They hide the ether. The ether transmits our thoughts. And literally, whatever you purely think of, you create in your life. Look at your life. Ready? It's your fault. It's the way that you think. And if you look at it like movies, entertainment is to contain the mind, entertain the mind. And so if you watch movies all the time, you're going to dream about those movies. You're going to think about those movies, and you're not actually doing anything useful for yourself. You're not creating the world that you really want. When you're in that flow state and everything is working perfectly and you're having these thoughts, and everything is just smooth, everything just appears, everything just manifests instantly. You can manifest stuff so fast it'll make your head spin. But they've got us so discombobulated, living in fear, low vibration, and paying attention to all the wrong things. So, so when, that's why they want us separated 6 feet apart, wear a mask, don't let any, listen to the words, don't look at any of the other communication that's going on. If, when the world gets populated enough and enough people are awake and connected, we have, things just happen much faster. Things just happen better. And so they don't want us to get to that point. They tell us we're overpopulated 8 billion people, right? But there's probably less than 2 billion people on the earth. They're lying about everything. And because they have us, they've sterilized us. They've made women go into the workplace. People are having less children. I only had 2 kids. I had a healthy boy and a healthy girl, while everyone around me is having birth disasters and all sorts of stuff, autism and all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Plus 2 kids going through college. I don't, and the cost of college made me say, you know what? I'm lucky. I'm going to count my blessings. I'm not going to have a 3rd kid, right? That's all a scam. College is a scam. Don't send your kids to college. And so all of it's about depopulation. Wars, right? George Bush, and whoever else you want to name, never killed anybody, didn't kill anybody. They just convinced order followers to kill other order followers. So if I convince, you to kill somebody else, that's on you. It's not on me. And that's how this world runs. So it's about understanding who you truly are. I encourage you to watch my interview with, I'm spacing on his name, the Australian guy that does outer body experience. He's in the homeschool section. I go to homeschool. I'm just having a brain fart. It's Darius J. Wright. Boom, Darius J. Wright. Watch my interview with him. It's in that playlist there. It's very good. But basically, he points out that once you remember who you are, where your real home is, and that the purpose of being here, there's nothing to be afraid of, and life will just start getting better and better. But they have us so jacked up and scared and lost, and it's mind blowing.
I think most of us have found when you wake up to flat Earth, you become powerful all of a sudden. You become very humble, but you are blessed with knowing something that has been hidden from you, and it's a divine sort of reality wakening going, and your jaw to the floor,
Yeah, before Flat Earth, I had a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking into all of the other deceptions, the Boston bombing, the 7/7 bombings, everything. And I had a thing called Exposing the Big Three, because there's 3 events that are so clearly fake that once you see them, you can't unsee it. 9/11, Sandy Hook, and Boston, right? Completely not what they said they were. And I kind of was focusing on that. And I just found that people would wake up to that and then they just go back to work. They forget about it. They'd be like, oh, well, the administration's going to change. And, that was this, whatever, it was gun control. And they just come up with excuses. And then Flat Earth came around after rejecting it. And I was Forced to Look by Sophia Smallstorm. I I realized that flat Earth is the one. Flat Earth is the key. Like, there's not a day any of you wake up and don't think about the Earth being flat, right? You'll forget about the 7/7 bombing, but flat Earth every single day, everywhere you go, every time you look at the horizon, every time you see an airplane, every time, it's always there because it is the ticket home. It is the ticket back to seeing where you are. It is the ticket to understanding your true divinity. It's the Globers say, oh, you flat earthers, you just want to feel special. Well, don't we all want to feel special? But that's not why we do it. It's because we are special. We're all special. We're at the center of creation. We're not a random speck. We didn't evolve from pond scum. And that's what they want you. Just lost, confused, scared, nuclear bombs, which are fake. The wars going on, the space travel, and just we're running out of food, we're overpopulated, we're running out of fuel. They want you living in that fear. An asteroid's going to take us out, all of this stuff. And then they want you fantasizing about stuff that doesn't exist, and that way you're under their control. They literally are hiding God. They want to become God. They want to be above you, rule you, and they're doing their best to get us into a complete controlled society.
Dave, listen, I want to open up the floor in a minute for some questions, but I've got a question that I want to ask you to start with, and it is probably based on current events. With everything you said there, and they're trying to hide everything from us, with the current events, I'm going to bring up the Middle East that we all, it's all around us, whatever. What do you think's going on there?
It's all a show, the theater of war. It's a theater. Go watch Wag the Dog or whatever the name of that movie was. It's all theater. There's a what's the name of that video, Ian, that I featured on the app? It's where they fake the news. It's called Mind. Yeah, so on the app, just go to the video search, type in Bender, boom, and everyone needs to watch this video. There it is. News Benders. There it is. Watch that video because it is the absolute 100% truth of what's going on in this world. So look at it. Netanyahu, since 1990, almost every year he said, Iran is just weeks away, just months away from getting a nuke. Every year he says the same thing. He's saying it today in 2025. Iran is just a month away from getting a nuke, right? Here's the thing. If you've looked into it, nuclear bombs don't exist, right? And if you haven't learned that yet, go to my website, flatearthdave.com, and go to the nuclear bomb banner down there at the bottom and listen to those podcasts by Crow 777 Radio. Make up your own mind. But all the information has been laid out for you. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So when you're hearing a war based on nukes, know that it's all absolutely, completely fake. And for those of you that don't know that nukes are fake, check this out. So here's an island. Now notice these clouds right here. Notice these clouds. Nuclear bomb goes off. Boom. Right? Now this thing's just going to pulverize everything. It's going to eat these clouds. And then as that pulse goes through, hold on. I'm going to show you side by side. The clouds are still, they haven't been touched. They're still here. Look, they're the same clouds. Same clouds. So this is a official video. I'll show you. Look, same cloud. Same cloud. Right? Is that all? Do you need more?
Yeah. Go on, tell us some more.
No, that's it. I mean, there's we're all showing the bomb blow up and the trees bend over and the house explodes. You watch that video, a car all of a sudden appears when it wasn't there before. It's just, you look at the model, you look at that video with today's eyes as opposed to when we were kids and they showed it to us. Yeah. It's clearly just a model. It's clearly just a crappy little model. It's not a real thing. The camera doesn't move. It's like, where's the cameraman? No one asks these questions. And, so the good news is, wait, hold on. The good news is, if you're watching the news, and I say I don't ever watch the news, right? Because the news gives you cancer. But when you're watching the news, when you hear someone say nuclear bomb, if you believe nuclear bombs are real, if you believe these wars are what they say they are, every cell in your body is now freaking out, like, all right, I hope this doesn't happen, nuclear bombs, right? And you have all of this fear, this dis-ease, uneasiness, dis-ease, and that's how you literally get weakened, right? But if you done your research and understand that nuclear bombs are a joke, anytime you hear a newscaster talk about nuclear bombs, you can just put a clown wig on them and a clown nose and laugh because it's funny.
I was talking about the nuclear bombs, Dave. In Japan, they said that they did Nagasaki and Hiroshima with these bombs. But didn't they? That's a complete fabrication because they were open for business the next day or something?
No, 3 days later, the trains were running, the sandwich shops were open, they were selling flowers on the street, everybody was back to work, and all the buildings that had fireproofing didn't burn down. Sounds like a fire bomb to me. And there's video of troops stacking TNT at ground zero before the bombs went off at both locations.
Wow.
Right? And plants, people, and animal have lived there when the radiation is supposed to last like 11,000 years. The half-life is ridiculous. Plants, people, and animals live there. There's less cancer there than there is in the United States. It's absolute fear porn. It's just about keeping you in fear. So people say, what can you do about it? Well, first, don't live in fear and understand who you are, where you are, how powerful you are, and they'll just fade away. We don't have to take down the government. We have to ignore the government. Think who the government is. What if everyone just said, I'm no longer going to listen to anything you say? What power do they have? They only have the power that we give them. And if you live on a globe, you're giving all your power away.
Yeah, very true.
This is the one that wakes you up and makes you see everything.
Totally agree. Right, Dave, if you don't mind, I'm going to open the floor up for a couple of questions. There's a few all around. I do want to talk to you about Antarctica and the debacle that was, but that might be a question that someone else might do. Right, hands up for questions. I've got one here from a lady who is new to us, I think, Dave. You can't see her, she's out of shot.
Hi there. Nice to meet you.
Really loud.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, my question was, thank you for making a question. Was related to what we were just talking about, the planes going off as a decoy in the east and then actually flying west. Have you spoken to a lot of pilots about this subject, and what's the general sort of
Are you asking about circumnavigation?
He flies around and around and around everywhere, and he finds this kind of topic very difficult. So, do you know? First of all, do you know many pilots? Do you know
I do. I have many
bombers.
We have a pilot in the room, but we'll come back to that. Okay, thank you.
Dave, basically it was about, do you know any pilots? What's your thought with it? Her brother, is it? Her brother's a pilot and he has a real problem with flat earth stuff.
So first, I do have lots of pilots from major airlines that I speak with. They're waking up their co-pilots on long flights, and I think pilots are going to be, the highest percentage of awake people coming. The southern pilots, the ones that like fly for Qantas, they all know because those flight routes make no sense on a globe. For example, just real quick, if I type in southern, and my favorite one to go to is this guy right here. If we look at New Zealand to Argentina, New Zealand is over here. It flies up over the equator to San Francisco, then to Texas, and then all the way back down across the equator to Argentina. When FlightAware says the shortest route would be right here. Right here. It doesn't have to go over Antarctica and disturb the penguins. It goes right there. But when you look at it on a flat Earth, New Zealand, San Francisco, Houston, Argentina, it's a straight line, right? So there you go. And I think you were asking about circumnavigation. Is that how you can go west and end up back where you started from? Yeah. So that's the easiest one of all. Here we have a magnet and we have a compass. Now notice the needle's pointing to the north is this way towards the center. So I'm trying to go west and I have to kind of keep turning to the right to maintain a heading of 270 west. And I come right back to where I started from. And if I try the same thing going east, so now I got the needles pointing north, east is a circle. Now that's the same on a flat Earth or on a globe Earth. It's absolutely the same, right? 90 degrees east is a circle. Now, if I'm stationary and I say, okay, west is this direction, and I'm going to follow the stick west, as soon as I start going, if I don't correct to the north, I'm going south. South is this way. South is this way. South is when north is behind you. Okay. No one's ever gone from Santiago south and popped up in Australia. If I go south, I'm going to go in a straight line and I'm never going to come back. So south is just goes away, and no one ever circumnavigates south. Right? Now, if I go north, every straight line is south. I'm going north, I'm going north, I'm going north. And as soon as I pass the North Pole, the compass does a 180, and now I'm heading south. South is every direction away. Every straight line will bring you south. Amelia Earhart, she just went around to all these places. So she's going east all the way around the world. Boom, 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 boom. That's all she did. She flew around a flat plane. And, you know, a lot of pilots don't want to acknowledge this, but, you know, airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane.
We do have a pilot here, actually, Dave, a regular of ours, Tony, who used to fly for Ryanair. Yeah, and obviously he woke up to be flat because of that.
Yeah. Hey.
Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, come on, Dave. Oh, we've got one over there. But Dave, talk to me about. Listen, the big thing before, a couple of people haven't been here since before the Antarctica thing. They're back tonight, and what happened? What was that nonsense all about? What's your take on it, Dave?
Yeah, so my take on it is the whole Antarctica thing was designed, not my ego speaking, for me. It was designed to take me down, take the zap down, take the map down, because people are getting too close to seeing the truth of our world. And I was at the Tennessee debate with Greg Locke and Pastor Dean Odell, and everyone's coming up talking to me. I'm meeting all these people, and this one guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Dave, big fan." You know, shakes my hand, and he goes, "Yeah, can I take a picture with you?" And he gives a phone to his friend. And I'm like, "Sure, you know, what's your name? You know, you got a channel? Do I know you?" He's like, "No, you don't know me, but you will soon." And he takes this picture. He's looking at me like this, right? And now the trolls are using that picture as like, "Oh, I'm good friends with Will Duffy." That's the only time I've ever spoken to him, right? He goes, "But you will soon." Forgot about that. Months later, an email goes out to all the flat earthers, all the globers, saying, "There's an experiment coming up. We're going to let you know in 30 days, and you're involved." And I got that email, and I was like, "What is this?" And I replied back. I was like, "Just tell me the experiment and I'll let you know what I think of it." And he goes, "Nope, you got to wait 30 days. I replied back, "Don't ever contact me again. I don't play these stupid games. I don't deal with demons. Go away." And that was it. That's the only communication I've ever had with him. I just got this feeling right away. And so when I said no, they did everything they could to get me to go. They called every influencer in my life. I was speaking at the Acapulco conference called Antarcapulco. They called all the influencers, all the people that run that. And they're like, "Dave Weiss is speaking at your conference. He turned down a free trip to Antarctica. You know, you should make him go." And all these people are like, "What are you talking about?" And so they tried everything to destroy me that way. And I was just like, I'm not dealing with it. And the main reason I wasn't going is it's a false binary. If the sun does this, then that. If the sun does that, then this. That's a false binary. It's like, it does. That's not that. Those aren't the only two options. So I didn't go. And then Jaron was next on the list. And I said, "Jaron, nobody should go." And he's like, "Well, you know, if I go, I want someone to go with me." And they're like, "Okay, Austin can go with you." And then they said, if they could fake the sun behind the clouds because it's always cloudy there. And he goes, "Well, if it's cloudy, I'm not going to accept the answer." And Will Duffy says, these are exact words. He goes, "If it's even hazy, we'll give that a win for flat Earth." Now, if you look into Union Glacier where they went, there's like 350 cloudy days a year, right? And when they got there, when they landed there, the people that were getting on the plane that had been there for 3 months working, they're like, "Oh, you're lucky. We haven't seen the sun in 3 months." But they got there, and we call it 9/11 blue. It was the bluest sky ever. It was like perfectly blue. So So I don't believe that there's a circling sun in Antarctica. There may be some sort of reflection. Joe Hanvey has a cool model. I'll show you. I kind of took Joe's idea and made a little video the other day. And let me show you this before I continue. So this is that.
This is good. I like it.
Yeah. So I got an iPhone light here, and I'm shining it on this water-filled tube. And when I show it, like, here's a guy in the north, the sun's circling around him, and here's a guy in the south that's circling in the opposite direction around him. Now, this is possible, but I kind of think if you were in the south and you're seeing a reflected sun or an apparent sun, it might not look exactly the same. I know that they were in Antarctica because I was supposed to go. What are they going to not, like, I'm going to get on the plane. They're like, hey, Dave, you're going to be in on this big scam and you're going to cooperate. You know, I'm like, no, they took these guys to Antarctica and they fooled them, in my opinion. I don't know what they did, right? They fooled them. Now, Marty Leeds and I and a whistleblower from Microsoft talked about Microsoft's technology of being able to project plasma into the sky and make a fake sun. And that technology, I think that's old world technology. There's a Raytheon whistleblower that says in Antarctica, there's directed energy technology that you can't even fathom, right? You know, this doesn't seem that unfathomable to me. And so other people said, these guys were all in on it. They're in an Amazon studio. It was filmed beforehand, which is crazy. Crazier than saying they faked the sun. I'm going to take it a step farther. Not only did they fake the sun, they faked the whole blue sky too. The entire thing was faked, right? And the information on, you know, how that's possible, there's more information than I can publicly talk about. But let's just say the one guy that would be the best to run an operation like this, that worked for a big tech company. I'm trying to be very careful in what I say here. He happened to be in Antarctica vacationing during TFA. The guy in the world that would be best run to run an operation like this happened to be in Antarctica. Okay. That doesn't prove anything. It's just kind of weird. So I think Austin was fooled. Jaron, people are saying he's been a shill for 10 years. I just don't see that. I think that he has been spiritually infested. I don't know what the right word is. And what we have to realize is, where is it? Hold on a second. This one. This is a Bible verse for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. I think that there are influences that some kind of get a hold of people. And I think that the Jaron that we're talking to isn't the same Jaron that we all knew before TFA. But that's just my opinion. I have no proof of any of that. But stuff that he's saying makes no sense. I mean, the last thing is, if that reflected sun in the sky is real, it's a possibility. Let's even call it a far-fetched possibility. They faked the sky. Let's call that a far-fetched possibility. The Freemasons say that the sun is being projected from the center of the earth and it's being reflected out in the sky. There's another possibility. We can come up with a whole bunch of possibilities for how the optics of a domed sky work on a flat earth that are all possibilities. But if you want to say that the circling sun in Antarctica, if it was real, proves the shape of the earth, you now have to believe in Narnia. You have to believe that helium and hydrogen that defy gravity and break, that in a space vacuum, instead of expanding violently and filling the available space, they collapse upon each other and create nuclear furnaces that burn 640 billion tons an hour or a day or whatever the number is, for billions of years and never get smaller. It has enough gravity to hold on to Pluto, but it ignores our moon. Like when our moon comes around the earth towards the sun, it doesn't speed up. And when it goes away, it doesn't slow down, right? You have to believe in the most ridiculous Narnia nonsense ever. to say that that proves anything, right? I'm a flat earther. I'm not a sky earther, right? The sky, there are lights in the sky. We don't live in the sky and we don't live on a light.
Fair enough.
Yep, fair enough. Right, I'm going to go round and I'm going over to the German. David, you may remember back last year we met a chap called Rainer who sang some songs for us, comes from Germany, played at the Sounds Beautiful Festival. He's come here today. He's got a question for you.
Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Nice to see you again. May I sit down because I have to point out something quickly? Yeah, you can see me. May I?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, hello. Nice to see you again. My question is about the sun. I had an observation when I drove in my car. I had the sun behind me, and I had the rays of the sun coming through the clouds and merging in front of me, like from outside in, and not the way we would see it, like we look at the sun and then the sun rays come through the clouds and then it goes like this.
Yeah.
It went like in front of me. It went
So,
like,
so hold on. So the sun rays were crepuscular, and then when they went through past you, they converged. Is that what you're saying?
exactly.
Those
Yes.
are called crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays. I have some videos on the app in the frequently asked questions section. I think in the where does the sun go section. But the crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays, that's just how we see it. It's perspective again. Everything goes to a point, just like I was showing you, if you were standing under train tracks, they would be at a point, they'd spread out, and then they'd go back to a point. Crepuscular and anti-crepuscular, it's the same thing.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Nice one.
All right.
Nice one.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, who else? We got a lady at the back here, Dave. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, go on, go be seen on the camera. They all want to be seen today, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Hello. I'd like to know more about eclipses and why you don't see the moon travel in front of the sun.
Good.
And what's your thoughts on the black sun?
On the black sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're talking about a solar eclipse, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So as I'm pulling up my Eclipse, where did it go? So this is a solar eclipse. Do you see the moon?
Yep.
No, you don't. You see missing sun. You literally see missing sun. Do you see the moon here?
No.
No one has ever seen the moon approach, eclipse, or exit the face of the sun. It's just missing sun. Missing sun, right? It's just sky, right? You don't see the moon. You can imagine the moon. You can imagine it. Now, I actually think this is the moon, but you can't see the moon. And the reason is because of this. Here is, some of you might have seen this, but if you haven't, it's in the eclipses section. So here's an eclipse that I actually filmed. It was hazy, those climate trails. And I'm filming the eclipse. It's about 85% eclipse or 80%. And here is a projected eclipse. This is a paper towel, and I've got a light projector in the back going through a tube, and I'm eclipsing it with something, with a Snapple bottle cap. Can you see the Snapple bottle cap? No, you can't, because you just see missing sun. So keeping that in mind, here's another eclipse. Now, we saw, this is the lens flare, and then we saw this. Now, the eclipse is like 85, 90% eclipse. This is eclipse. It's just so bright that it's blowing out the lens, but it literally is the same amount eclipsed as this lens flare. And whatever this thing is not moving. It's locked to the sun. We're like, it's not a lens flare. What is it? Like, if I put sunglasses on, you'd be able to see the eclipse here. This is just bright. So just understand that. So we're like, what is that? And so going back to my eclipse, you don't see what's eclipsing the sun. It's just eclipsing the sun. So I'm going to show you a side view. Here it is. And then here comes my bottle cap. Now, we don't see the bottle cap because there's no light on it. The paper towel represents our sky. Our sky is like a screen. Now, you don't see the bottle cap again. You just see the eclipse happening. It is an eclipse. So then I said, wait a minute, maybe our sky screen is more transparent. So I used some tissue paper, and here's the projector behind the paper, and here's what we see. And on that day when we filmed that thing, what does that look like? That looks exactly like what we saw. Right? So this is the source sun projecting the sun into our sky. This is my source projector projecting our sun into our sky tissue. That's why you don't see the sun, the moon, because whether it's the moon, whether it's another dark body, I couldn't tell you. I kind of personally think that it's another dark body, but it makes sense that it would be the moon because that's where the moon would be on a flat Earth. But I think when we have a new moon, there's actually no moon. The moon, literally, we get a new moon every month. I think it materializes, if that's the right word. That's just my opinion. So there you go. That's why you don't see the sun.
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely questioned it, and I was considering that it was a dark body, but that does make sense. So thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime, if you're looking for, there's more videos of the eclipse. This is one I filmed in the eclipse section on the frequently asked questions page of the app.
Excellent. David, a lot of these dark bodies back in ancient histories, there was a Ketu in Arahu, which was like the head and the body of a dragon. Is that right? And I've seen.
That's what they say.
I tend to think that's the case. I really do. But again, there's no proof with it. But I've got some more questions. Hold on, I'm coming back to you. I've got one over here. Dave, you might remember Adi and Hitomi, who were with here last time. He's coming anyway. Go on, go and ask a question. He's got a book out. I'll send it to you.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Well, first I wanted to congratulate you. I think that the stuff you do is more scientific than the guys at NASA that I used to work with 4 years. And I really love it because it's practical and it just makes sense. My question is, what do you make of the fact that earlier this year, NASA announced that they discovered that there is a down-moving, or 99% of the time down-moving electrical current,
Yeah, I saw something on that.
And they also said this discovery is almost as important as gravity, as discovering gravity.
Well, I mean, if you understand what we think gravity is, we think there is a measurable downward flow of electricity, if you will, and that sets the downward direction. And the electrostatic force, we can levitate things or make things heavier by changing their electric potential. So that's scientific. Gravity is just a theory. You can't manipulate it. You can just go, oh, well, the Earth is this big. That's why there's this much gravity. You got the problem with the gravity, cosmologically being off by 96 or 99%. They have to make up dark matter to fill it. Like, your theory's off by 99%. Oh, here's 99% dark matter. And it has to exist. Otherwise, my theory's wrong. Therefore, my theory can't be wrong because dark matter exists. It's such stupid logic. Like if I borrowed $100 from you or 100 pounds, and tomorrow I paid you £1, I go, we're even. And you go, whoa, wait, where's the other 99? I go, they're dark pounds. Don't worry, they're there. You just can't see them. I mean, that's literally how stupid it is. I would do that. Actually, I wouldn't even give you the dollar. Just kidding. So, NASA, basically anything NASA does is just absolute nonsense. They had a I'm just trying to, I had something on NASA. Where was it? They made some announcements the other day that were just so stupid. I don't know if I got to find it. But they're shutting down all their social media sites too. All of their Voyager tracking, all of the stuff, because the comments are out of control. Too many people are waking up. They shut down their comments. Now they're shutting down the whole sites. they're shutting down a ton of them, or all of them, because too many people are waking up. So it's people like us that are making a difference. So you gotta if you're just, you don't have a channel, you're just nobody, just talk to people. Wake up one person in a week or a month, whatever, or a day or an hour, whatever. If everyone did that, we have enough people right now. Look at the UK, you guys. On the UK is out of control. It's almost as bad as the United States.
2015, I woke up and I said, I went into my family and they all thought I was mad. And I thought, in 2 weeks, I'm going to change the world. And I need to I'll tell him, and he'll tell somebody else, and he'll tell somebody. Yeah, we'll all be done in 2 weeks. It'd be great. Well, here we are, 10 years later.
Yeah, well, it's coming, and they're doing everything they can. So this TFE thing is as big as the moon landing, but a hell of a lot easier. The moon landing was done in front of millions or billions of people. You actually had to launch rockets, television cameras, newscasters. Just it's a hoax so big that some people just can't even deal with it. But now pretty much everyone knows it was a hoax. Think how big that operation is, how many people were involved in it. Why was it done? To make people think they live on a ball, to hide God, to hide hide your true divinity, to hide what this place really is. Well, why is TFE being done? It's being done for the exact same reason. And it was done with just a few people in a private area with no onlookers, no television cameras, no nothing. This was like 1 trillion times easier to pull off than the moon landing, but just as important. So to think that they wouldn't go to all expenses and lengths to pull this off and make it huge, but it's backfiring. People aren't buying it. Now, there are just people that are what we call them, just normies, NPCs, whatever, that they'll just listen to the mainstream media and the mainstream media said, this is fake and the sun circles. They'll just believe it. Well, they're never going to wake up anyway. It's when you have an intelligent conversation with somebody and you show them the facts, show them that there is no curvature, that you can't contain gas without a container, just show them the basics. People are waking up. The veil is being lifted, and this is our moment to possibly stop a reset from happening. But we're getting darn close, and we need everyone doing whatever they can. There you go.
Excellent.
Dave, we do have a question. One more, just to go back to those crepuscular rays. I think we've got a couple more too.
Hello there, I'm incognito. So, just to let you know that I did try and tell someone who I brought with me tonight that the Earth was flat, and I called them from Mexico, and they said, "I think you've gone crazy."
Yeah, that happens.
I tried to tell another friend here that the Earth was flat. Everybody's all right now, but all I did was show him NASA and some crepuscular rays, and he was on board in 15 minutes.
That's way to go.
My question is, you mentioned the crepuscular argument to do with perspective, and this is what the Globers do. They push the crepuscular ray perspective as saying, well, it is 93 million miles away, but it's our perspective that sees the sun during crepuscular rays. So can you explain why that perspective is different than the ground perspective? For me to tell them.
I mean, listen, being a glober is really easy. You can just make up anything you want and just say anything. And most of the stuff is unprovable. I'm just trying to find, there it is. So where's my perspective? Where is it? 1 second. If the sun was 93 million miles away, we argue that it would look like this. The sun would just be coming in, because that's what they tell us. They say, Eratosthenes did his experiment, and because the sun rays all come in straight, this is what it would look like. And no one's ever seen that. When we look, we see, this is what crepuscular rays look like. Where is the one I was looking for? Is this it? Yeah. They want to tell you that this is 93 miles away, it's hitting our atmosphere, and then it's spreading out. They keep coming up with different excuses, but if you look at these rays that are going away from us, those are still spreading out because they're really spreading out. They're spreading out more than you realize because perspective is trying to bring them back together. You know, if you go to the top of the Egyptian pyramid, it was really hard to find a picture of this. I used to have a great picture. And you take a picture down the face, one side of the pyramid, right? So the pyramid goes out like this, right? But if you take a picture down, perspective will make those lines look exactly parallel. The pyramids are built the way our eyes work to where when you look down at the top, the bottom will look as the same width as the top. It literally looks like a straight ski slope. It's wild. It's wild. So these would be crunching back together, right? And you know, the Globers will say, well, when you're above the clouds, the rays are straight. You don't see crepuscular. If we're above the clouds and the rays would be coming together. They would literally be coming together towards the earth, but they don't. They don't. Their arguments are just fallacious and empty. I don't know what else to say about that.
Well, Dave, I think we may have come to the end. Is there any more questions from anybody else? Come on, it's an opportunity if you've got any. Oh, we have right at the back. Hold on, Dave.
Bring them up front. It's good. It's good when someone sits in a chair. Come up front.
Come up front. Come on. Oh,
yes. Oh, no. Too shy.
So,
can you explain why flat Earth proves our divinity?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the heliocentric model is once upon a time there was nothing. It exploded and became everything, and then all the gas turned into balls in a space vacuum, which defies natural law. All the planets, with all turned into balls, and then lightning struck, created an amoeba, which is impossible. The amoeba turned into a fish. It grew legs. It climbed out of the pond, found another sexy fish with legs, turned into a monkey, turned into a human. Okay, that's what this is what they teach. This is what it dilutes. If you want to dilute something, pour it into something bigger, right? If I had a glass of milk and I dumped it into a bucket, it would be slightly diluted. Dump it into a pool, pretty diluted. Dump it into a lake, extremely diluted. Dump it into the ocean, it's just gone. It's gone. So you want to take God, pour it into an expanding universe. Space is expanding into what? Right? But that's what they want you to believe. They literally have you spinning lost in space. You're a speck. You're insignificant. There's trillions and trillions and trillions of other galaxies, right? And so if there is a God, he's diluted also in your world. There's a verse in the Bible that says, once you see my creation, you can no longer deny my existence. And that's true because I guess you can call me an atheist before I discovered flat Earth. Then I understood this place is intelligently designed and I had no choice but to understand there is a creator. And my life changed from there. Once you understand where you are, once you understand that your thoughts actually create your reality, which they'll never teach you. It's the opposite of what they teach you, right? They don't want you to know that your thoughts are the reason for your life, right? If you believe that you're going to live, that you're just paycheck to paycheck, you're going to live paycheck to paycheck. That's it. Because you're creating that reality. And people are, then I'm just going to think I want $1 million. Well, if you think I want $1 million, what you're really sending out is I don't have $1 million. I'll never have $1 million. And I'm going to be paycheck to paycheck. You have to have pure thoughts. You have to feel your way into reality. So we are these divine. The word I'm looking for is the word divine souls that are immortal. We are immortal souls, and we're having an experience here. We've literally funneled ourselves down through all of these different channels, all these different chakras into this soul, single soul in a body, having this experience with amnesia that we planned on. You have destiny, right? You came here with a plan, right? So there's people that'll say that you don't have free will. The truth is you do have free will, but if you go off your chosen life path, things get really difficult. You can go left, you can go right, but if you go left or right, the path is going to pull. Things are going to get worse and worse and worse until it pulls you back to where you go to complete your mission. So your thoughts are connected. We're connected to all of the planets, the stars, or the planets are just literally here, close. They're sentient. We're connected. You know, astrology is the real science. Astronomy is pseudoscience. My whole life, I laughed at astrology and thought astronomy was God, right? So how do they disconnect you? How do they disconnect you? Boom. You just live on this little limited fear-based spinning ball in the middle of nowhere, right? In the middle of nowhere, going nowhere, right? You're an accident rather than you are at the center of creation. And once you know where you are, everything changes. Your ability to manifest change, your everything changes. And it's just provable. It's absolutely provable. You know, and if you don't have that spiritual connection, life gets pretty tough at times. So there's my short answer.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, very good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that was pretty profound, some of that. I think it's only fitting to give our good friend Dave a big social thank you. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks so much for having me.
Don't forget, he does have an app. It is the best thing that you'll buy if you want to buy it. I think it's £3. Gives you everything that he does. If you want to do the dating or the friend finder, it's a tenner a year. It's nothing, but it does have the best resource of flat earth information on there.
Yeah. Everything is there. So thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks, Dave. Time to go.
Thanks a lot, mate. See you soon.
See ya.
Yeah. I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off.
All right, that's it.